1943. Detailed information from the Manhattan Project was stolen from Los Alamos by the Russian spy known as Perseus. 1968. Vietnam War. Viet Cong soldiers orchestrated by Perseus attempted to steal an American-made nuclear bomb from a U.S. firebase. 5 days ago, while on a mission, we acquired intel that Perseus is in play again and planning an attack on the West. Perseus. The CIA's analysts consider him to be the single largest threat to the free world.
Hello, I'm Zihan.
Mr. Hudson,
welcome back to another
we're all
episode of
aware
Not Just
Perseus.
Games. Today,
We're also
we'll talk
aware he's
about
more
Perseus,
myth than fact.
the villain in Call of Duty
Personally, I
Black
think he's
Ops
nothing
Cold
more
War.
than the Russian
The Soviet
boogeyman.
spy was named after Perseus,
Haig.
the son of Zeus
to
and
introduce the
Danae.
man.
In Greek mythology, Perseus was one of the greatest Greek heroes and slayers before the day of Heracles. He beheaded Gorgon Medusa and thereafter used her head, which retained its ability to turn the onlookers into stone, as his weapon. He also saved Andromeda, who was fastened naked to a rock as a sacrifice for the sea monster, and later claimed her in marriage. In the cutscene before the gameplay, Perseus was brought forth as the main antagonist of the game, and whom the US government was after. Activision promised that the game was inspired by actual events, but how true is this statement? We'll find out. And before we get to the main gist of this video, I just want to let you know that I intend to make a series of Not Just Games video on the upcoming game COD Black Ops Cold War. I've put those links in the description below. If you are interested in this series, do visit the links in the description. Now, let's get back to business. The Manhattan Project was a research and development undertaking during World War II that produced the first nuclear weapon that was conducted at Los Alamos, New Mexico. The project gave birth to Little Boy and Fat Man, which were ultimately destined for Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and ended World War II. The security officials of the Manhattan Project were given the task to keep the entire atomic bomb program secret from Germany and Japan, and they succeeded. Although an ally of Britain and the United States were in the war against Germany, they also attempted to keep the word of the atomic bomb from reaching the Soviet Union, who remained as a potential future enemy to them. And unfortunately, the effort did not turn out well. The Manhattan Project was penetrated by the Soviet espionage program, and the spies sent home critical information that helped speed up the development of atomic bombs in Soviet. A number of spies within the Manhattan Project have never been positively identified. Word has it that Perseus was the fourth operative in the Soviet espionage program, who worked alongside Klaus Fuchs, David Greenglass, and Theodore Hall. Perseus was the codename of an alleged Soviet spy who had successfully breached the US national security during the Manhattan Project. As the trailer rightly states, the identity and whereabouts of Perseus, or even whether or not he or she actually exists, remain unknown to this day. The first piece of information about Perseus surfaced after the dissolution of the Soviet Union on the 25th of December 1991. The country then went through a total openness and publicity. After some KGB archives were declassified, the Secret Service's operatives began to write books and talk about the secret. Colonel Vladimir Chikov was the first person to publicly talk about Perseus. According to Colonel Chikov, Perseus, also known as Blood, was a young physicist at the Chicago University in the 1940s. Soon, the KGB archives were classified again, leaving the public unable to prove Colonel Chikov's allegations. When Pavel Sudoplatov released his book Special Tasks, Sudoplatov was rather dismissive when Perseus was mentioned. While Yatkov mentioned Perseus in an interview in 1992, Sudoplatov denied the existence of any operative named Perseus. He suggested that Yatkov or his colleagues had created Perseus to cover the real names of their sources and confuse the US government. In 1995, The Messages of Venona project, the US counterintelligence program, triggered another wave of discussions. As they contained the codename Perse, many related it to Perseus, the Soviet agent. Meanwhile, some others disagreed, claiming that it was merely a disinformation to protect Agent Theodore Hall, the real Mlad. The revealed characteristics of Mlad Perseus did not fit Theodore Hall. Until 1995, Klaus Fuchs and David Greenglass were the only two known and arrested Soviet spies. In an interview with Chekhov in 1996, he admitted openly that he and the other KGB officers had put Mlad and the codename Perse together to create a single spy, Perseus. Chekhov told the authors of Bombshell, the main goal was to make the story unclear, so when the intelligence of other countries began to analyze this, it wouldn't reveal the forms and methods of the work of Soviet intelligence. According to Chekhov, in early 1991, he and General Drozdov changed dates and cables, and then Pralin got together with Yazkov to fake the story of how Perseus was recruited. In 1999, arms control advocate Jeremy Stone joined the picture. In his memoir, Every Man Should Try Adventures of a Public Interest Activist, he wrote, "On reading the article, I thought I realized who Perseus was because of a paragraph that Perseus had uttered 50 years before to his recruiting KGB officer. And despite the fact that this paragraph had been translated into Russian and back into English and then modified at least slightly, there was a statement and a turn of phrase that seemed to me to identify the speaker, like a thumbprint. He strongly believed that Perseus was his colleague, Philip Morrison, an MIT physicist. After multiple failed attempts to make Morrison admit to being the Soviet spy, Stone left the matter pending. In his book, he referred to Perseus as Scientist X or Dr. X. Although Morrison was not once mentioned in the book, all the clues constantly pointed towards Morrison. Later, in the May interview, Stone said that Dr. X in his book was indeed Morrison. The latter denied all allegations made by Stone by pointing out the discrepancies between his biography to that attributed to Perseus. Stone accepted Morrison's denial and apologized for the unfavorable publicity. So, to this day, no one knows who Perseus is or whether or not he even exists. He or she could be a single person or a network of spies who were loyally serving the Soviet Union. In Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, we know for sure that Perseus was personified as an agent who worked for the Soviet Union and was the main antagonist of the game. However, we are free to guess which character of the game is secretly the Soviet boogeyman. On Reddit, some players are speculating that Russell Adler himself is Perseus. Russell Adler, after all, joined the CIA in 1966 and was assigned to investigate Soviet activity in Vietnam. After Vietnam, Adler disappeared from CIA records but continued to be affiliated with a number of clandestine operations. If that's true, it would be very interesting to see where the double agent will lead the story to. Nobody knows, so it's up to our imagination for the time being, and the beauty of the whole story is precisely this. What do you think? Do you think it's still important to unravel the mystery of Perseus today? If not, why do you think the KGB archives got classified again? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, do like and share this video, and consider subscribing to our channel. With that, stay safe and see you in the next episode.
Their requests are highly irregular. Most likely illegal if the press gets a hold.
What the hell are you talking about? You know who we are?
Every mission we go on is illegal.
Sergeant Woods, plausible deniability is the backbone of our work.
Al, we're talking about preventing an attack on the free men and women of the world. Give Mr. Adler whatever he wants. Gentlemen, you've been given an important task, protecting our very way of life from a great evil. There is no higher duty. There is no higher honor. And while few people will know of your struggles, rest assured, The entire free world will benefit. I know you won't fail us.